What's up guys, here's Sahin. Hello and welcome to my new Photoshop tutorial. In this one I'm going to show you how to create realistic rain in a very easy way. And it's also very fast. You can see I've already prepared here something for you. Before we start, let's first create a background that fits to the theme. In this case, let's say a dark and stormy sky with clouds. For that, first make sure that the foreground color is black and the background color is 50% black or 50% gray. You should have this color value here in the swatches. Alright, first let's create a new layer and go up here to filter and render and choose clouds. There you see. And now while this layer is selected, let's go down here to the layer styles and choose gradient overlay. We need now following values. Multiply is okay, dither is okay. Let's increase the opacity to 70%. And the gradient itself is from white to black, that's okay. The angle 90% is okay. And let's increase the scale up to the maximum, which is 150%. Alright, that's it. Let's confirm. There you go. We have now our background, and you can now flatten this background layer. For that, you can just press Strike E or Command E, or you just go up here to Layer and choose here Merge Down, or just here Flatten Image. There you see. Now the image is flattened, and we have a background with a dark sky. So now we're going to create our first rain layer. For that, we first create a new layer and fill it with any color we want. Let's say in this case, I press Command and Backspace or Strike Backspace to fill it with the background color. And now we go up here to Filter while this layer is selected, Noise, and Add Noise. And we choose an amount of, let's say, this is 100, I think it's okay. Let's keep this. Distribution is Gaussian, monochromatic is checked, alright, okay. So, and the next thing we're going to do is very important for the upcoming steps. So please make sure that you do this, which is converting this layer into a smart object. Right click and choose Convert to Smart Object. Alright, there you go. And now we're going to add several effects and adjustments to this layer. But before we do it, let's rename this layer. Let's say Rain 1. Alright, and now go up here to Filter, Blur, Motion Blur, and let's change first the angle to, let's say, something simple. Let's say 45 degrees, and the distance, let's say 40. Alright, that looks good. And confirm. And you can see now that we've added not just a regular filter to this layer, but a smart filter because it's a smart object, which means you can always go back to this effect and edit it again. So if I double click here to motion blur, there you see. If I, let's say, change the angle, there you see, it changes with it. Let's cancel this. That's why smart objects are very useful, and I'd recommend it for you to use it in the future more often. Right, and the next effect or adjustment we add to this layer is level, which can be done with pressing Command L or Strike L, or just go up here to Image, Adjustments, and Levels. Alright, and we're only going to change now the value of the shadow input level, which is the first one here, which is already marked, and change it into 140. Of course, it's up to you because you have to see for yourself how the rains are going to look. Because if let's decrease this value here, there you see, it's too much, too busy. Between the single drops, there have to be much more space. So in this case, if I increase it again, let's say 120 again, there you see, it looks quite good. And let's click OK. Alright, and the next thing we add now is another blur. But this time not the motion blur, but the Gaussian blur, which can be found again here in Filter, Blur, and Gaussian blur. The value is 1.5, which is already, so let's keep this. I think it looks good. Again, it's up to you which value you want, but like I said, it has still to be quite visible, but not too sharp. So in this case, I think 1.5 looks good. Let's click OK. And as a last effect, we add another levels adjustment. For that, again, we click Command L or Strike L. And this time we're only going to change the value of the highlight input level, which is this one. and change it to, let's say, 200. All right, looks good. And there you see the drops looks much more clear now. And let's confirm. All right, and that's it already for all the effects we add to this layer. But there are 3 things we still have to change. First, we see that at the edges here, there are these bright areas. For that, we just scale this layer by pressing Command T or Strike T, or just click it to edit and free transform. And don't startle if it looks like this here in your screen. This is just the content of the smart object we've created earlier. So we go up here to the width or the height value, which one we want, and we make sure that the value is to %, and add, let's say, to keep it simple again, 10%, and make sure that the maintain aspect ratio is checked and confirm. And there you see the edges are now gone. And that's the first correction we made. The next one is the blending mode, because you can see that the rain is there, but the sky we've created is gone. For that, we go up here to blending mode and choose linear dodge. There you see. It looks quite good. But as I said earlier, we are making here a realistic rain. And as you know that when it rains, it doesn't go straight to just one direction. It's messy. It goes to several directions, which is one of the reasons why I've mentioned earlier that it's important to convert this layer to a smart object. So that's why the first thing we're going to do is to duplicate this layer by pressing Command J or Strike J, or just right click to the layer and click duplicate layer. And let's rename it to, let's say, Rain 2. And what we have to do now is just to change the value of each smart filter we've added here. So let's first start with the bottom, the motion blur, double click. And let's change the angle of this one, let's say to 60, and the distance to 62. Okay. And we can keep the levels as they are here. And next we added the Gaussian blur, and let's increase it to just 1. There you see. And the second levels, change this value to, let's say, 220. Okay. And there you see, it looks now much more realistic. You see the several drops here go to different directions, each one. Like I said, it's up to you how busy you want to make the rain. Like in this one, the rain is, let's say, very stormy, very messy. But like I said, if you want a more calm rain, you have to increase the values of the levels. Of course, you can add a third layer in which you also have to just change the values of each smart filter, especially of the motion blur, because you just have to change the angle. Alright, and for a better overlook, let's just group these layers by pressing Command G or Strike G, right, and name it Rain. Alright, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it and it helped you to get better in Photoshop. Comments are appreciated as much as likes or new subscribers. For more tutorials, you can check out my other videos on my channel. Thank you for watching. Bye.